what is our understanding of time? We understand time usually as something in the past, of something it is in the present, and of the future. It is in this way that we divide the time of past, present, and the future. But what does this, where does this model of time really applies? To what property of our life is, can we say that this model of time is really applicable? Does it apply to us, or it has another implication that we do not have much clarity over? If time really applied on us, then we would experience time factually. We would experience time moment by moment, second by second. But that is usually not the case. In our life, when we would find that in daily experiences, there are some instances where we really do not have the slightest idea that where did all the time go. How is it that we, it is past an hour mark, but in our lived experience it did not really feel that way. And on the other end, there would be instances where we would have experienced time which might have felt a longer duration, but if we factually look at the clock, only 10 minutes have passed, but it feels like that it's definitely more than 10 minutes that we have experienced. So, our experience of time is certainly different than the fact of time. The fact of time, actually, if we look closely, apply on things that are material, which also includes our body. We will find that the skin or the shape of the body changes over time, and we often confuse this change as the change in us. What changes with time is really matter. Material wood is going through constant change, and similarly so does our body. We will find that the body, that the fact of our body, our skin cells, our outer structure, our in fact blood, veins, etc., all of these parts of the body undergo complete change in a certain amount of years. The body that we had when we were younger, say at 3 to 4 years old, is not the body that we have when we are 18 years old, and it is not the body that we will have when we are 40 years old. So, the material, which is the body, goes on, goes, experiences constant changes. And so, when wherever there is this change, this conversion of the form, this changing of the form, that is where time is applicable. We will find that there is the seed, and that seed goes into a grows into a sapling, and that sapling grows into a plant, and that plant eventually grows to a tree, which then falls and becomes part of the land, and then the same process goes on again. So we will find that time is really applicable on whatever that is physical, on matter, and not really on us. The way we think we experience time as past, present, and the future, that model might not have that substantial reality which we give it to. The past is only alive in our memories, and if we look closely, it is the experience of the memory that we live in the now. It is that experience we call past. And similarly, the imagination, the projection of certain images, ideas, theories, and beliefs in the future that we also do in the now, that projection is called future. And both these things, if we look at them closely, do not have a factual basis in the now. They are simply an expression, either an imagination or a projection of what is contained in us as a form of belief, as a form of memory, images, etc. What changes with time is really matter and not us psychologically, because we will find that the universe, the planets, the earth may have certainly gone through changes in their forms, changes in the landmass, changes in the living organisms. We will find there is certainly a change in all of these outward material things, and similarly there would be that same change in our own physical structure, our body. But fundamentally, psychologically, our agony, our sorrow, our joy, our tendency to deceive and harm the other, they have not changed, and they appear to be like this quality, this psychological quality, which doesn't fall under the realm of time, that the rules of time do not really apply when it comes to our psychological structure. Our psychological structure might not have gone through any fundamental real change as time has passed by. Man, human being, was violent, was sorrowful, was ignorant, was attached 500, 600, 1000 years ago, and it is the same condition that the human experiences in the now also. The human is violent, the human is petty, the human is insecure, the human does search for happiness. So we will see that the psychological structure has not really gone through any change, and it does not matter how much time has really passed. There could be 200 years that have gone by or 2000 years that have gone by, but the situation within has somehow been the same, has not changed. And so time, if we rely on time for our change, if we think that with time things will change, people will change, we would improve, and that we will be mature, that might not be the correct way to go about it, or an efficient way to go about it. Because a simple observation of condition of the human being would tell us that time hasn't really helped the human being, that time really hasn't been that force which facilitated a fundamental change within the human psyche. And so what human was in the past, he is that in the now, and what he is now, he will continue to be that in the future also. We may think that we can have a brighter future, we may hope for a good future of humanity, but this future is simply the continuation of the present, which is the result of its past. And so we will get to see that all time, that this whole movement of time psychologically is one, and it never changes. That time really has no bearing on the future of man, on the future of humanity. Any hopes, any expectations about a good future, a healthy, bright future, is simply a practice in delusion. We would be deluding ourselves if we think that if we are petty right now, if we are insecure right now, if we are jealous right now, if we are fearful right now, all of these things, if are actively present in our life, and we think that in future we will change, in future we would be secure, in future we would be fearless, in future we would be free and independent, that will simply not be the case, because all time is really here in our present situation. And so whatever change that has to come, it will have to come in the now. And so now is essentially a window of fundamental transformation for man. If we do not perceive the role, if we do not understand how time really has no bearing on the change, for the change that we really desire in ourselves, we would simply be repeating the same mistakes again. And that has really been the story. Year after year, century after century, we have find that there is whatever that is evolving is outside, whatever that is developing is outside. Things are becoming more advanced, things are becoming more modern, but the user of those things is somewhere still primitive, is still old, archaic. And the human has designed, engineered invented stuff for an easy life, for a life that is less difficult, but all that difficulty really is concentrated on physicality, on the physical ease, that physically we shouldn't have to lug around the weight that we used to do earlier. So there is the invention which helps us to motorize that process, and so all the ease, all the development that has happened over the centuries has only facilitated the human being externally, physically, and inwardly we will see that we haven't moved an inch, that all our tendencies within us of violence, of destruction, of domination are still very much alive, and we can see them being expressed in subtler forms, and at sometimes even explicit forms. Time is really a psychological support for us. We psychologically depend on things that are in time, that are within the realm of time, for comfort, for satisfaction, for happiness. And it is this dependence on time, on the things within time, that grow and born in time and perish with time. It is these things that we rely on. And when we acquire them, when they are born, when they emerge, we feel happy, and when they perish, when they are no more, we are devastated, we are depressed. And so this dependence on things that are within time, this dependence on time is really not something that will answer our restlessness, that will answer the misery that is present within us. Our dependence on time would simply allow us to continue the same old, would allow us to continue in those same old primitive ways that we have been functioning. We have to move ourselves away from this primitive way of functioning and really watch, inquire, understand that how the way we have been living through ages, our own story, it may look like that it is only 10 years old, 20 years old, or just strictly depends upon our own age, but that's not really the case. The individual story of the human being is not his or her own individual story. It's the story of entire mankind. And so the way we are living is not just some 10 or 20 years old or 30 or 40 years old. It is thousands of years old. We have been living the same way. We have been caught up in those same psychological patterns. We have found relief in those same things. We have found comfort in those same places that we found hundreds and thousands of years ago. And when they fail to provide the comfort we were then looking for, how will they ensure comfort right now? Our comfort was in, apart from food, shelter and clothing, was in a community, was in some ideologies about our existence, in an accumulation of things. All of these things were the source of security for us, were the source of comfort for us. And it is the same thing that we rely on today also. And if they failed then, how will they really succeed now? One has to move away from that old, primitive, traditional movement and really see how that's not the answer, or that is not the life that can bring any real fruit, any real joy to us. And the perception of our older ways, seeing how the primitive tendencies did not help us then and would not help us now, seeing the futility of our reliance on the things of time, is to move towards that which is really timeless. Time can apply on our physicality, but not our psychological structure, who we really are within. Time has no bearing on what we are and how we feel and how we experience things. For that, we really have to understand this movement of time, understand how we have been just repeating, how we are simply just caught up in that same old cycle that all humanity has lived through ages. To see that we are simply repeating, we are simply caught up in the past traditions, in the old primitive ways. This perception allows us to come out of that circle, to come out of that trap in which the entire humanity has spent its decades and years. We have to come upon that which is timeless, and it is in this timelessness that life really happens, where we come in contact with the richness of existence. our dependency on time only keeps us away from that which is timeless. And all we know is simply time. All we have acquired, all we understand, our thoughts, our ideologies are simply a product of time. They originated within time. And our fundamental requirement cannot be answered by that which has originated, because if it has originated, it will perish. It will come to an end because there was a beginning. Beginning implies an end, and what has begun will end. We have to then perceive that how our demand cannot be really answered by that which is born in time. We really have to come upon that which can neither be created and nor be destroyed. And it is that which will change the course. It is that which will allow us to move from our old primitive ways. It is that which will facilitate our stepping out from that sea of tradition, which is thousands of years old. The demands of our physical structure of the body are not our psychological demands. We may feel a certain rest within when they are answered, but eventually we will find that they are proving to be insufficient, that they are not enough, and so then we set out to look for something else, to look for that which is beyond these physical demands, and then find ourselves being caught up in all sorts of other mental pleasures of respect, of ideologies, of beliefs, or imaginations that we project in future. And that is where we take shelter. And it is easy to do that. It is really convenient to form a belief and then just simply be in its shadow and take rest. But that belief will only take us so far. This approach would only get us stuck in that same loop in which we found ourselves earlier. To understand the reality of the program that we function on, to see the fact how everything within time is actually limited, and nothing that is limited can answer our insatiable requirement for that which is limitless. all our requirements, all our physical requirements are simply limited, and after a certain point we do not really demand or need much, but our inward requirement is not like that. Our inward demand is of that which is limitless, and so that demand cannot be put to rest by anything that is limited, and all that originates in time is simply limited. In fact, we are the product of that same limitation. We in ourselves also are nothing but matter, and to perceive that, to really grasp that fact, is to put a stop on our existence within this field of material and time. Material, time, matter are simply different words used to describe that same thing. To perceive that we are really that material, that matter, we are really simply a product of time, that perception is intelligence, and it is that intelligence that then separates us from that which is material. And in fact, that separation also may look like separation, but then it becomes something whole. That understanding is holistic, and nothing is really left out from that understanding. To grasp that completely is to step out from that old primitive tradition that humanity has carried out since the beginning of time. And when our life do not have that timeless quality, all we have in the name of riches and beauty are simply the things of time, material and matter, we will find that our inward dissatisfaction, our inward unhappiness, misery, the restlessness is always present, gnawing at us, nagging us psychologically, and that's no way to live. Such a life is simply a whole movement in misery. If we are too easily settled, if we are too easily satisfied, then probably it will become difficult for us to stay at the course of that which is our fundamental requirement. We will allow the things of the mind, the things of the matter to quench the thirst within. But nothing that is of the mind, nothing that is material can ever really quench it. And then we will find that that thirst, which was essentially for water, is now being is now being substituted by some other forms of liquid which are not really water. And these comforts, these shelters where we stop at and decide to settle down, these are really the enemy between us and our search for water, our search for that which is timeless. And if in our life we do not have that timelessness, our life would be actually unlivable. It would have no meaning. There would be no point in our existence that is simply surrounded by the things of time. The movement of time is the movement of mind. Time only applies to that which is material. And because this body is the result of that which is material, we will find all our exercises, all our efforts are to move from one material to another, are within that same past tradition that has been followed by the entire humanity. We have to grasp this fact of our material existence. And in coming in contact with this fact, there could be probably that which is immaterial, that which time cannot spoil, and which is really the answer to all our worries and problems.